Okay, Fred, well, you got that brand new drone, or UAV, as we like to say.
The Mavic, you got that? Or something similar, but anyway, let's talk about the Mavic.
Yeah, but there's all kinds of accessories you can get regardless. Well, I don't get Mavic, Phantom. What are some of the other brands out there?
That's another one out there.
There's the Unique, whatever. There are some accessories that we are going to recommend that you get.
Right.
And some of these are more for the Mavic Air, Mavic Pro.
Right. Well, the first one we can talk about. This is not a lens reflector like you might think it is.
Yeah.
This is a takeoff and landing pad. I'm not going to open it up.
Yeah, they actually
completely.
call it a landing pad, but I don't know why you couldn't call it a takeoff pad.
No, I call it a takeoff and landing.
Well,
actually, it opens up.
If you look it up, it's a landing pad.
Yeah. It opens up, and you either got
this
color or
yeah, there's different ones.
the other color.
We're going to put links down here in the show notes and down below, so you can go check these out, and you would actually support our podcast and support us if you buy from these links.
And the nice thing about this, we're showing it about a $15 value. You can actually get it for less sometimes, anywhere between $10 and $15. It's not a big expense. It's nice because it gives you a nice target to take off from and land to.
If you got sand or tall grass or something, that will allow you to take off without getting all kinds of dirt.
Right. If you have a lot of loose debris that you could be hitting, it's going to be a problem because that's going to tend to get up all over your drone and
they pull
up in your face.
They come with usually with stakes. So if it's windy,
for windy days, you can stake them down,
and even some reflecting tabs. So I guess if you're doing this in the after dark,
as far as I'm concerned, this is a nice investment. Jim has a couple of them. I have one at least. It's just one of those things you really, I think, need to have if you're going to be seriously doing any drone or unmanned aerial vehicle.
This
UAV.
goes for anything. Now, the next item we got is more for the Mavic Air, Mavic Pro. The smaller drones, maybe the Spark, and these as leg extensions. And I'm going to take these out here and show you those. What these do is they raise the little, especially the little Mavic Air and the Spark, because they got such little stubby legs that these will go on there. Now Polar Pro has a set too, but these are a little less expensive. I actually like these a little better than the ones Polar Pro has. And these are like a rubber, so it's kind of a cushion. But these will raise the drone up a little bit higher, especially if you have like grass, like out of a backyard or something like that. The grass can actually interfere, and I'm going to show a little video of this here. The grass can interfere with the camera from it properly setting itself up, but these will raise it up high enough that will prevent that. And will at least reduce that, and also they provide a little cushioning, so when the copter lands.
Right. What if you're doing really early day or late day flying, Jim?
Well, of course, you got to stay legal, but a little strobe. And this, again, for any UAV, this doesn't really matter.
Right.
These, the ones that I'm going to put on here.
And they're required if you're flying a half hour before sunrise or a half hour after
sunset. If you're
sunset.
a 107 pilot and you can fly in twilight, you're supposed to have something on there that can be seen up to 3 miles away. So you might even want a couple of these strobes, and you can also get ones that are red and green. This one here is white. Is it charged up? There we go.
Oh, there goes my eyes.
Is that. And this is kind of nice because also you can set this. And God, I'm going blind. You can set this so it does that kind of blink too, or if you want it on just steady, it'll do that. Now I can't see because you guys can't tell from the video, but that little sucker is bright.
But it has to be seen from quite a distance away. So
it comes with a charging cable. It just has a little built-in. So
okay.
That is something, and again, if you're flying after sunset or before sunrise and you're legal to do so, you definitely want it. You can use these in the daylight too. It will make your UAV or the quadcopter, your tricopter, whatever you're flying, easier to see even in daylight.
Right. What's another thing that we would have that we would want to?
Okay, again, this goes for all UAVs. This is universal. And the ones that I'm going to, I know there are several companies. These are from Polar Pro, and I really like these. And these are ND filters and or polarizer filters. Now, they have a number of different collections. This particular one here is both ND and polarizer built in. Nice thing about the little Mavic Air is they can screw into the front of the camera. Some of the UAVs, you push them over on the front of the, they actually squeeze over. But I found out after I got these particular ones, if you're doing anything like the Asteroid on the Mavic Air, which I know is coming to the Mavic Pro, and I believe you can do that with the Spark, as it goes around, polarizers only work when they're 90 degrees to the main light source. And the trick is to point your finger like at the sun, and where your thumb is where the polarization will occur. Well, if this does a 360, like that Asteroid, some parts of the sky is going to be darker than others. So in that case, you just want to use a straight ND filter. But definitely recommend it because you want to get your shutter speed down to around a 50th of a second if you're shooting at 24 frames a second, or a 60th of a second if you're shooting at 30 frames per second. It gives you a much smoother, better looking video, and it's about the only way you can adjust it because the aperture is set 2.4, 2.8 depending on your particular, unless you have a mechanical shutter, which most of them do not.
Well,
and you have your ISO. Those are the only two things you can adjust, or like your smartphones, you're limited.
You are limited.
Yes. So
all right. What else are we looking at?
All right. Transmitter extension. And that's this little dude here. So some of the transmitter, now if you've got your video built in like a Unique or some of the Strobes, some of the drones, you won't need this, but I like, instead of putting, here's the Mavic or DJI type transmitter, and this will go on here and allow you to mount your phone up there. You can also get larger ones that allows you to mount a tablet, so if you want to use a tablet on there.
Right.
But if you got one of these small transmitters like this, I like to have my phone up there.
And it's a convenience item.
Yeah, and then you can use these little handles where you normally put your phone in to hold on to.
There you go.
So that is something that we kind of recommend. The other thing
a shield?
is a shield, yeah, because when you're out there in the sunlight, it's hard to see some of the phones. And so what this does is it goes in and around your phone and kind of shades it.
And then on the back, basically for the phone, you have these little suction cups.
Yeah, this one's got a little suction cup.
Push the phone onto it, and then you lay that on there.
And there's several different versions of these. I kind of like this one best. And
this one, basically, now you have your controller, but what's happening is that you have a sun shield around this. And let's face it,
this particular one is really meant.
It really works on this very well. Yeah.
Yeah, there are other ones that slip over the phone that if you want to use.
The nice thing about this, ladies and gentlemen,
use your phone down here,
is that the screens are not that bright in full sunlight, especially when it's behind you for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. This is probably a recommended. Some people say it's convenience. I would almost say this is a recommended item.
Oh yeah,
is to have the two of them.
See, there you have to stand in the shade or find something like that where you can. All right.
And then
our next item is radio frequency focuser.
Now, focuser.
You can change your antennas. They're expensive. This is ideal, is to change the actual
antenna itself.
But it's larger, it's expensive, you void your warranty if you do that.
Right.
This is cheap and easy.
This is doesn't look like much of anything till I open it up.
Yeah, these are like under $10.
And what I do is I basically mount this. I'll let you hold this while I mount these on there.
Okay.
And put them on. And what it does, it works with the antenna to reflect the signal. It's RF, and it pushes it out towards your...
Yeah, and keep in mind, if you're using these, and people, you'll find YouTube videos out there where people have taken and tested the amount of signal coming out of there, and they do increase the signal.
Yeah.
But you have to point your transmitter toward
At
the flying
right
UAV,
At your UAV.
because if it's behind you and you're pointing this way, it actually is going to tend to block the signal.
Right.
So they're going to help a little bit and give you a little bit more signal strength. Now, we're not recommending that you fly these out of sight because that's not legal. Don't do it. But it will give you a stronger
It
signal.
gives you a bit more strength and just
And,
a nice thing.
make
It may
sure you
actually
don't-
increase a little bit of the range to the device if it's
Yeah.
one of the shorter range UAVs.
Yep.
So, what else we have?
Well, okay, lens shade, and this was something that here's the problem: that on all the UAVs, that if the sun's coming at a particular angle, it can cause a flickering effect on the front of the lens, which can be very
Which
irritating.
nobody likes.
And so I was looking for a solution to it. I saw these. There's a little. I'll open this up and show you here. And I'm going to show you these, but I can't recommend this. So I'm hoping maybe somebody out there has a solution. This is the one for the Mavic Air right here. And there's also a tulip version, so if you can see that. The problem is with this particular one is, well, it slips over. It seems to me that it doesn't have a real good fit and could possibly fall off. The other thing is because of the raised portion up here, camera will hit the top and won't go up all the way, so it won't point up.
Right.
It can't do it. So the third thing is I ordered this from Amazon. It came from China, and unfortunately there's several companies that sell these. They're all Chinese based. This took nearly 2 months to come to me.
To get
And
there in
I
the
found
mail.
that unacceptable.
Yeah.
So they're cheap. This was like $2. So if you want to try it, I'm going to put the link in here, but with that caveat
Right.
to be aware
Now,
of.
The one thing that you have to go ahead. What were you going to say about?
I was going to
the
say,
lampshade?
if anybody has a solution, I know there's one that fits around the cowling. The trouble is with that one that if the camera moves around in certain areas, you can see the inside and it blocks your
you
video.
get almost like a vignette or
yeah,
a block.
definitely. It comes actually right into
Right.
the shot.
So, one of the things you got to deal with is that I don't care how many batteries come with your UAV, they're going to run down. There's
Oh,
only
yeah.
so many minutes of flight time. So, if you're on the go, what's something you can do to help with that is?
Yeah, well, chances are you're going to have your car with you. Now, there is a company that makes a portable one, but they are expensive.
Pretty expensive. This one just
well-
plugs in right to your. They used to call it the cigarette lighter. Now it's the accessory port.
Yes. And the thing to be aware of on these, now this one's a 200 watt. That check your charging unit. Now on the Mavic Air, it's only 50 watt. Your inverter has to
Adapt,
be
right.
more than that. So in that case, 100 watts would be fine. This is 200 watts, no problem
you're
at
fine.
all. So if your charger is 150 watt, you definitely want a 200 watt to give
Right.
you a little headroom.
And you can buy these. There's a ton of them out there. I
Well,
actually have a
this-
couple of them. I have one that's a little bit larger, like
these
this
are
one.
like $15.
Right, and I have a much smaller one that is just as powerful.
Yep.
I think it's maybe. I think I have a 200 and a 150.
Yep.
That's what I have on both.
So yeah,
of them.
this just
So
converts. It puts out
pretty cool.
110.
Also, folks, this was a no-brainer for us. We've been using these for years to charge to charge batteries for our cameras when we're on the go. If we're
yeah.
on a road trip somewhere and we've been doing a lot of photography and we've been using them down because we're not the kind of guys that just say we're going from point A to point B. We're going to stop every place that there's a photo opportunity. So having a way to charge batteries is really nice. And now even more so with the UAV because it kind of eats batteries for breakfast.
Well, there is a company that makes a portable one.
Yeah.
In case you're not near a place where you can plug it into your accessory.
Right.
But it's over $100.
Right. They're
It's rather expensive. And so if you're going to be out hiking somewhere and you're going to be overnight, and that would be something to consider. The one I saw was specifically for the Mavic Air, so I don't know if they make them for other
And
UAVs.
are they less
I would-
expensive?
I would
Yes.
suspect they do.
So.
And I got one more thing here. This is kind of an essential for any of the drones. This is a little card reader. The way this works, and this particular one is kind of cool. And again, the links are going to be down here. This is like $16. And what this does, it looks like a USB memory device, but it's not. This is it. You got one in here, can plug into like your computer. And if you push this on here, let's see if I can get it. It can go into an Android phone if you got a USB-C. There.
Oh, very nice. Let me see that. And that'll fit mine. That's actually a USB Mini.
Yeah.
Not a C.
It's okay. It's a Mini, but that.
But for some Android
or you
phones,
you can get an adapter too. Right. But on the other end, push that back in. If it'll go back in. There we go. Put that cap on.
So let's see what the other end does.
The other end is for your iOS device. It's for your iPhone, iPad. And
of course, where does the card go?
On the side, there you plug your cards in. Oops, it's on backwards. Your cards go in the side. It'll take you to the little...
The mini or the standard?
Or the standard.
Right.
You
SD
plug
card.
those in, and then you can, with your phone, you're
Very
out in the
cool.
field, you can look at your videos immediately.
Very cool.
So that is something that's very handy, so you don't have to go all the way back to wherever your computer is before you can check to see if the video or the photos you shot were any good. You can
And of course,
do that.
everybody's always worried about,
and this will work with
backing
your
up.
regular camera too. I mean, it's
Right.
not just for UAVs, as long as
Right.
you're using SD cards.
Anytime you need to take the card and move it on to another device.
Yeah, for $16, you can't
go wrong.
Yep.
So these are great accessories.
And again,
the nice thing about it, some of these things that we've told you are great accessories for your UAV can also work with still photography.
Oh yeah.
So
And we've put
win-win.
the links to these down here. We would appreciate it if you like something you see, is to go out there, follow that link, and again, that Amazon throws a couple
And,
pennies in our bucket.
Right. What I'm hoping is that if you'll share, and if you want to, we'll do this. If you share something, we'll share it with everybody else. And if you want the credit for sharing it, we'll tell them who you are.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you want to stay anonymous, we understand that too. Some
Yes.
people don't. Some of the nicest photographers that I know are very quiet about. They'll share anything, but they don't really want to make a big deal that it was them that did it. So that they were the ones that brought us that information. So it's all good. But if you want to be, what is that? What would you call that? Almost famous? Nearly famous?
Nearly famous, yeah.
Nearly famous?
Infamous.
No,
No,
that's us. That's us. But anyway, let us know, and then if we'll mention your name if you'd like.
Yep. So please leave comments again if you've got anything that you want to add. If you've had some experience, positive or negative, with any of these items, or if you've got some other items that you find that are essential when you're out flying UAVs or just with your general photography, please let us know.
Yeah, anytime.
Thank you.